Hey, what's going on, Facebook? Great evening to all you guys, and great evening to my YouTube family as well. As you notice, I'm not as enthused as I usually am when I come on to do these videos for you guys. And it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, and it's good to see all of you, or be able to speak to you as well. I'm here to talk about the Black Panther movie. I don't know if any of you guys seen the Black Panther movie, but my suggestion to you guys is you need to go see the Black Panther movie. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're Hispanic. I don't care if you're African American, because this movie to me was the most sinister, most mind manipulative piece of garbage I ever seen in my life. Okay? And so if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it too much for those who haven't seen it. And if you have, you'll be able to follow me. The story is about basically the Black Panther. He becomes king because, you know, in the other Marvel video, he was killed. The Black Panther's father was killed, so he becomes king. Now, before he becomes king, years ago, his father killed his uncle over a dispute that was all about the uncle having a perspective of wanting to use the technology in which this country, it was an imaginary country, Wakanda or something like that, the name of the place was. They were sitting on this rock, this mineral called vibranium, and they had massive technology because of it. And so the brother or the uncle of the guy T'Challa, who was the Black Panther, his uncle and his father had a falling out to where the father kills the uncle because the uncle wants to use this technology, weaponry and everything to liberate black people all over the world. This is what he wanted to do with the technology. And of course, the Black Panther, T'Challa's father, didn't want to do that. And so a scuffle happened, things happened. He winded up killing his own brother. Now his brother had a son. He was living in America when this whole falling out took place. He had a son with an African-American woman, and after the African-American boy father was killed, they left him there, and they just went back to Wakanda, whatever the name of this fake country was, and made up this big lie that the brother of the Black Panther, which was T'Challa's father at that time, had just left and disappeared. Nobody knew where he was. Okay. Now, that son grew up, became a CIA murdering killer type of dude. Eventually, he went back to Wakanda, challenged the king, which was T'Challa. The son, this CIA killer kid name was Killmonger was his name. He winded up going back to this country, imaginary country, Wakanda, and killing the king, which was T'Challa, the star of the show. Winded up killing him and becoming king. And his purpose, his so-called purpose, was that he wanted to live out his father's dream. He wanted to take this weaponry that they had because of this vibranium that what they were sitting on to make and that they had used to make all these weapons, because they was living in this very high-tech city, and use all this to wage war on the world. Anywhere where black people was being oppressed, they was going to wage war. Okay. With that being said, here was the things about that movie that I had a problem with. First of all, I'm going to start off with all the individuals who have made reviews on this movie, and they on YouTube. And if you guys went to see the movie, you may have seen some of these reviews on YouTube. They liked it, this guy named Killmonger, who came to this country, Wakanda, and wanted to wage war against white America, white Europe, anywhere where European oppression existed against black people. He wanted to take these people out. Most people looked at him as a Malcolm X figure, and they looked at T'Challa because of the way in which he conducted himself as a sort of Obama or Malcolm X figure, which to me was just absolutely crazy. Because here was the thing. First of all, I'm going to start off with T'Challa. Of course you can compare him to Barack Obama or Malcolm X. These were real leaders. Barack Obama or Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a leader who led his people in a non-violent protest to get rights. He had to make decisions that he had to realize when he made them, he had to be responsible for these people. He couldn't just lead these people down a bad path and just make these harebrained, trigger-thinking decisions. Barack Obama either. He's president of the United States of America. He has to represent all the people here in this nation. So, and he has allies across seas. So he can't just be making trigger decisions. He have to think about things before he do it. And sometimes he may have to take the high road. And so they compare him to Barack Obama and Dr. King in sort of what I feel was negative ways. I don't know what's wrong with these people and why y'all can't understand that Barack Obama was not president of the hood. He was president of the United States. And a lot of these people, I'm talking about very prominent black activists are saying Barack Obama never did nothing for black people. Come on. He's president of the United States. The person that should be doing something for black people is the person that you look into the mirror and see every morning. You should need Barack Obama to do nothing for you. You should need Barack Obama to do nothing for your neighbors. You should be doing it. We all should be doing it for each other, not depending on some leader to step into office. And anybody with a half a brain knows, had he done that, they would have made it where it would have been 100 years before we had another black president. So that whole talk that I hear coming out of people like Umar Johnson's mouth, very high prominent black activists saying this, that is just dumb. He's president of the United States. So stop that. Now, in any case, they compared this guy, Killmonger, to Malcolm X. Let me give you a little bit of story about Killmonger and what I saw. First of all, Killmonger was raised up in the hood. He went to college, very high-tech college, and he became a CIA murderer. He was murder for hire. All he did was kill, work with special forces, take down regimes. Now, you know what the CIA do. All they do is kill and murder for themselves. They ship and fly the majority of the drugs that we have in this country in here. They're the worst nemesis that we ever created. The CIA don't care about nobody but themselves. This who groomed this guy. Now, there was several scenes where me personally, I saw this guy as a piece of crap. Period. There was no way I would compare him to Malcolm X. And you have most of these black commentators comparing him to Malcolm X, claiming he was the star of the movie, which is a bunch of bullcrap. Number two, they are basically saying that he was more real than T'Challa. Let me tell you something. I looked at this guy, and the first sinister thing I seen him do was that he shot his own girlfriend in the head. He was running around with this sort of South African-ish type of guy who was a criminal and a murderer, and T'Challa and his kingdom wanted him because he had stole some of this vibranium and was selling it, okay, to make weapons out of it to the highest bidder. And this guy, Killmonger, who was actually T'Challa's cousin because he was born from the father, who was the brother of T'Challa's father, he was selling his stuff. So this guy Killmonger was running with him. There was a scene in there. The first Sinister scene when I seen this guy wasn't crap. Killmonger goes to try to kill everybody. Flipped on the South American guy. And I call him South American because he had this look on his face throughout the whole time he was in the movie, like he was 5 seconds from using the term Kaffir, which Kaffir is a British South African term, which means the same thing as nigger, which is what the racist white people were saying and calling blacks here. He looked like he was he looked like he was 5 seconds from saying Kaffir throughout his whole role in the movie. With that being said, he flips on him. Killmonger flips on him. The first thing this dude does, Claw, which is what he was called, he grabs Killmonger's girlfriend. What do Killmonger say? He looks at his girlfriend. He grabs her girlfriend, put the gun to her head. He looks at his girlfriend and say, baby, it's going to be all right. And he shoots her in the head. He shoots her in the freaking head. So now this South African guy is running. He's like, this dude crazy. He just killed his own woman. He winds up killing this dude. This is the first Sinister thing I've seen him do. Next, he winds up finally going home to this country, Wakanda. Okay? He winds up going home. He challenges the king for power. He shows him that, yeah, I'm an heir. I have the same blood that you guys have. He looks at T'Challa's mama and say, hi, auntie, sarcastically. I'm about to kill your son. Take me out of these chains, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to him. I'm challenging for the throne. Black people out here suffering everywhere, all over the world, and y'all got all this vibranium, all this technology, you got weaponry that could put them on top. So I want to challenge you for the throne. This is what he says. Okay? So T'Challa says, I'll challenge you. He brutally, in his mind, think he killed the freaking king. Throws him over a waterfall. Okay? He throws him over a waterfall. Okay? Listen, murders the man. Throws him over a waterfall and then say, I'm running the country. That was the next Sinister thing I seen him do. Number 3, this is another thing I seen him do. There was a tradition in their nation, which was the most sacred part of the nation, where they would take the king, cover him up in this magical sort of red clay, where he could speak with his father or his dead ancestors. They do this with Killmonger. They also did this with T'Challa. And I'm going to tell you the difference between both of them. When they covered up Killmonger in this stuff, he was able to see his dead father. His dead father asked him, you don't have no tears for me? You know what he said? And he was in the image of a little boy, the same boy that he was when his father died. He said, no, I ain't got no tears for you. Everybody dies. Now, when T'Challa saw his father, he was elated. He couldn't believe it. He ran to him and hugged him. When he came out of that experience, he couldn't wait to tell everybody that he saw his father and his father was there. But what did Killmonger say? Killmonger said, he looked at him and said, no, I ain't got no tears for you. You should have seen the father of Killmonger in this experience. He saw that his son had no heart, that his son had no emotion. And that's why he said in the end, when he started to shed tears, he said, I should have took you home. I should have took you back and let them raise you. I should have did that. And I didn't do that. Because he saw his son that his son had became a monster. Now, once he came out of that, once Killmonger came out of the experience, you know what he did? You know what Killmonger said? Burn everything. Burn all this stuff. This was the most sacred part of their tradition. And he said, burn it. And when the high priestess lady tried to tell him, no, we cannot do this, king. This is sacred. He picked the lady up and chokeslammed her. He picked her up and chokeslammed her and set fire to the most sacred thing that they had in their nation. The most sacred tradition. Let me tell you something. Anytime somebody kill, the most sacred belief that you have, they trying to destroy you spiritually. Anytime you do it to a nation, You trying to destroy the nation. Bottom line. Do you know, people are saying Killmonger was like Malcolm X. No, he was not. You could have never had a man grab Betty Shabazz and put a gun to her head and Malcolm tell Betty it's going to be all right. And he put a hole in Betty's head. You could have never had Malcolm brutally murder an individual he's challenging for the right to rule. You couldn't have never had Malcolm burn the most sacred traditional practice in a kingdom. You could have never had Malcolm do nothing like that. This man was not Malcolm X. Do you know who he was? He was what I would call those black infiltrators that infiltrated every black organization that we have ever had, from Marcus Garvey to the Nation of Islam, from the Nation of Islam to Dr. King's movement, from Dr. King's movement to the Black Panther Party. This dude was a piece of filth. He was that agent rolled up all into one. He was co-intel pro infiltrator. That's what he reminded me of. Because he didn't care nothing about those people. He didn't care nothing about the movement. He didn't care nothing about liberating his people. And his daddy knew that. And he knew his daddy knew that. That's why he burnt everything, because he didn't want to go back in front of his father again so his father could see what he had become, how he had betrayed his own daddy's dream. All Killmonger wanted was to destroy whatever he saw fit to destroy to benefit himself. And in the end, you know what he would have did? He probably would have sold most of that vibranium to the people of Rwanda, whatever that fantasy country name was, enemies, and watched them be destroyed while he made $100 billion off of it and waltzed off into the sunset. He did not give a damn. This man grabbed a priestess in the throat. He picked her up and he earth slammed her and burnt the most sacred place in their nation. That is not a Malcolm X. That is a pro-intel quo freaking infiltrator. And that's all he was. The man was filth. And I'm going to tell you something. Had that been me and I've been around him, I'm telling you, I would have pushed his shit in. Because I would have looked at him and said, you know what? This is a sinister dude. I would have watched everything he did. And when he would have choke slammed a priestess and burned the most sacred place in that kingdom, oh, he'd have been mine. I wouldn't have told nobody. Why? Because the people there were loyal. They took oaths. They took obligations to serve the king, even though they knew that king was ruthless and didn't have a heart. They still were going to live up to what they said they was going to do. So I wouldn't have said nothing to them. I would have really became a real Lee Harvey Oswald, one assassin. And I would have pushed his shit straight in. I'm going to tell you something. Whoever made this movie was playing games. They playing mind games, because you got black activists. I'm talking about supposedly conscious black activists on YouTube praising Killmonger. What they are showing, whoever this person is who really put his sinister input into this movie, that y'all can still be infiltrated. You ain't learned yet to tell the activists from the agent. All they got to do is come around y'all, apparently, and say, kill Whitey. And y'all think he the shit. That's why everybody loved Killmonger. When Killmonger is the type of person to have you set up, you be in jail for something you didn't do. He slipped the drugs in your pocket and down you go. He's the type of person that puts your organization in a position where it gets scandaled. He's the type of person that call your name to walk out on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel. Do y'all understand that? And blow your head off. We had these type of infiltrators. Marcus Garvey had them. Malcolm X had them. Police officer. Supposedly Malcolm X, one of Malcolm X's bodyguards. And he was a police, going telling the FBI everything. Martin had him. The very man that was kneeling over Martin after he got shot was an undercover agent. And he was Martin's personal bodyguard and his driver was freaking undercover police. Look at the Nation of Islam. Oh my God. Their Secretary of Information, National Secretary, worked for the FBI. So what y'all showed them is that y'all still haven't learned. Y'all ain't learned nothing yet. Y'all ain't learned how to tell an infiltrator, an agent from a real activist. And that's a damn shame. Kilroy wasn't nobody. He was a low-life, despicable piece of dog crap, and I would have blew his head off. And I would have kicked him right in the head where I put that hole in his head and said, wrap this piece of crap up and throw his behind in the garbage can. And go find our king and bring him back here. Find his body so we can bury him properly. Apparently, he was not dead. But bring him back here so we can bury him properly. There was other things about this movie that I did not like. What I didn't like is when the Black Panther, in order for him to get his strength, I mean, he had the magic suit and all that. But I ain't like the fact that they got to give him some drugs so he could do what he got to do. They give him some drugs, and then when he take the drugs, he starts shaking like a damn junkie. You don't see freaking Tony Stark doing that, Captain America doing that. You don't see none of these others, Superman, Batman, none of them doing that. They all got magic suits too. But it's the Black Panther who got to take a drug. He got to get that sniff of the cocaine. Oh, he got to drink that syrup. Oh, he got to hit that blunt. Or he ain't got no powers. I peeped that. And he's shaking like a damn junkie while he is drinking this shit. That shit, I'm telling you, I did not like what I was looking at. Now, when I looked at this nation, this fantasy nation, Rwanda, whatever the name, I know I'm messing the name up because I don't care. This is a fantasy nation. This movie had a lot of details that related to our story, us, and what happened to us. It had a lot of details in what related to our connection, some of us with Africa. There are those of us who believe, like me, that we were the original indigenous copper-colored people who are already here. For those who believe either one, that is up to you. But for me, the fake fantasy nation, some people were saying it reminded them of Egypt, or Timbuktu, when these nations were really great and rich and prosperous. Okay. For me, it didn't. I looked at this nation because it was fake. For me, it related me to the various nations that we have had created in our minds and in our hearts in this country. Like Marcus Garvey's movement, his Pan-African movement, the Negro Improvement Association. It was a sort of fake nation. They didn't have land, but in their minds and in their hearts, they could imagine themselves as a nation. They had, there was a time when Marcus Garvey even declared himself the provincial king of Africa. And he bestowed all these other honors onto underlings under him, where they was sort of certain rulers of Africa. It was beautiful, ceremonial, and inspirational to people, but it was fantastic. Number two, the Nation of Islam. That's another one. No land, no real property, but this nation that is not really real, but it's in the mind and in the heart. The Nation of Yahweh, same thing. Now, a lot of people had problems with T'Challa and his nation because they saw them beat up black people real quick, but they didn't want to kill any white people. Well, I tell you what, look at the Negro Improvement Association. Marcus Garvey and them threatened a lot of black people. But how many white people did Marcus Garvey and them really kill? How many people they killed? I know they had very, very good reasons for saying why they wasn't going to do what they did. I think Marcus Garvey said, if they hang another white man here, we're going to push the button and hang a white man in Africa. Come on. Why you gotta listen? When they take the black man down off that tree, if you really serious, a white man should be hanging up there the next day, huh? Was he? Nation of Islam. Now, I'm going to tell you something. They had some pretty close skirmishes while Malcolm was the national speaker, because Malcolm was on some turn up. Malcolm was trying to turn up. Elijah Muhammad was turning him down. There was an incident where they tried to go in a mosque in California when Malcolm was the national speaker. 7 Muslims died. 1 police officer died. And it was police officers trying to go up in there. They killed a police officer. And 7 Muslims died. And this was when Malcolm was the national speaker. And Elijah Muhammad had to really keep Malcolm under control. And Malcolm wanted to turn up. But when Malcolm left, none of that was really going on. When Malcolm left, they killed Malcolm. Why they killed Malcolm? Because Malcolm basically told the truth, said Elijah Muhammad fathered children with secretaries that worked for him. Members of the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X. They killed him for saying that. They didn't kill what bothers me is that there was white reporters who was already reporting the same thing to the paper. And they was talking bad about Elijah Muhammad. You know, they didn't kill them white reporters. I mean, when Malcolm X said it, they said, cut his tongue out, deliver it to Elijah Muhammad's foot, at the feet of Elijah Muhammad. They said this in the Final Call newspaper. But did they go get them white people, cut their tongues off, and deliver their tongues to the foot of Elijah Muhammad? Come on. Nation of Yahweh, too. You know, I remember Yahweh being interviewed before he went to jail. And it was told to people who had infiltrated them, killmonger type people who had infiltrated them, went and told the authorities that Yahweh ben Yahweh was telling his followers to murder all white people. So they asked him in an interview, they said, did you say that? His response was, had I said that, there wouldn't be no white people, which was just as bad as saying, yeah, I told him to do that. Because he told him, he showed him he had the belief that he could make him do that. So, you know, how many white people did he kill? So to me, there was a lot of correlation there that I saw with that movie as far as that. The most craziest thing was the vibranium that this African nation set on. All that reminded me of is how Africa has all the minerals and stuff in their nation, period. Gold, diamonds, plutonium. They have it. They got it all. They got mad materials. So that's what that inclination sort of reminded me of. And one more thing, the women. Now, the women in this movie was fierce. They was kicking butt. Them women warriors was not no joke. What that reminded me of, because like I said, this was our story in a lot of ways being packed together to make a movie for a manipulative reason, of course. But what it reminded me of is the black women who took the forefront in the movement for civil rights for us and equality in this country. Even Marcus Garvey said, when he looked at the women that he had in the Negro Improvement Association, he said, man, if half the men I had the guts and courage and hard work and backbone as these women, it would be over with. We solve all our problems very, very quickly. This is what Marcus Garvey said. I mean, Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks said, I ain't getting up. Which made Martin Luther King an introductory to the world. Because that woman said, I ain't getting up. Women was carrying a toll. They was carrying it. Until you had people like Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey. I mean, and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King hit the scene. The 3M Nation. When them three came on the scene, men started stepping up and taking a role. You seen John Lewis getting beat in the head. You see men taking beatings, being the first one to get hit upside the head, the first one to take the beating. The Freedom Riders, the men, they took the beatings. They took the brutalest of the beatings because they stepped up after that. So for me, you know, to sum things up, I'm going to tell you, whoever made this movie was on some extremely manipulative stuff. And this was no black people that make this movie. This was a Stan Lee production. And I don't know who helped Stan Lee, but I know manipulative bullcrap when I see it. And it was manipulative. Very manipulative. And listen to the points that I make. You may not agree with me, but watch the film again and remember the points that I make. And tell me if you see Killmonger as a Malcolm X. Tell me if you see T'Challa as some weak dude. Tell me that you don't ask yourself the question, yeah, that is, I mean, he got a power suit. Why he got to drink drugs? And why y'all got to have him shaking like a junkie? Look at that. Look at the movie with your third eye. Look at the movie with your third eye and tell me what you think when you see it. And you black activists, you black conscious people, you disappoint me. You disappoint me because y'all got fooled real quick. If y'all had an organization and somebody wanted to infiltrate y'all be infiltrated like crazy. All they got to do is come around y'all and say, let's kill the white man, and y'all let them right in. Because everybody is on YouTube right now praising Killmonger. A guy who shot his own girl in the head. A guy who didn't even have tears for his own dead father, but he claimed to be revenging his father because he saw claws in his chest. He didn't choke slam a priestess of his own people and burn the most sacred, most special place in the kingdom, the heart of the kingdom, the spiritual heart of the kingdom. He said, burn it. Come on, y'all. Wake up. Wake up. I didn't like the movie because I was, by the grace of God, inquisitive to see what was really going on. And I didn't even like it even more when I read all the reviews on YouTube of what people were saying. Because somebody's sitting back laughing. For real. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better know. Y'all better wake up and start realizing when y'all being manipulated. They know how to make you feel good. Show y'all looking beautiful, technology, all this. It's feel-good psychology. It's the same thing that the black consciousness community uses on black people. All y'all kings and queens. Now, even if we are from Egypt, you should know everybody wasn't a king and a queen. Some of them people were serfs and workers, and you might be related to them. Somebody else might be related to the pharaoh and his queen. You might be related to that person laying them bricks. But because they tell you, y'all come from kings and queens, y'all feel good. It was a feel-good psychology, manipulative psychology in that. And everybody ran with it. I'm saying this because I don't like to see the buttons pushed in y'all like that. Y'all got to stop being so easy and stop being such pushovers. And look at stuff, like I said, with your third eye. For real. Because I'm going to tell you, Killmonger wasn't no hero to me. I'm telling you. Man, listen. I'd have been plotting his death. And I would have been manipulating him to think that I believed in him and I believed what he was saying when I know good and damn well he was lying. And he wasn't going to do nothing but lead us all to ruin. Because that was his plan. Because all he cared about was himself. Seriously. I don't like having a black hero that you got to get some drugs to. Please. Like I said, Captain America, Thor, none of them be doing that. But you're going to give Black Panther some freaking drugs. And he got a super suit. Come on, man. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. I'm done. You know, I'm done. I love y'all. Watch that movie again. Listen to the points that I'm making and tell yourself in the mirror that you that you still feel the same way that you're going to feel when you look at that movie and remember the points that I made. I love y'all, man. That's why I'm telling y'all what I'm telling y'all. So peace. All y'all have a good night. Have a great weekend. Love you.